Good evening and welcome to Mormon Monday. We are gonna finish up this video today. Finally, I only have oh man, I have like 13 minutes left. Let's see. Under over on whether or not this will take an hour to finish this video.
How much longer you got left?
13 minutes.
I think you can do it in under an hour.
You think so?
Yeah.
You don't think I'll yap too much?
Depends on how many smartass comments I make.
That's true. That's true. All right, well, let's get into it and finish this up because I think the last thing she's going to talk about is getting married in the temple. So let's go from there.
Out of the temple,
we don't have sound. At least I don't have sound, which is a problem. Aha, I do not have sound. That's my controller.
And my mom and my dad.
Nope. Try this again. Let's see if I got it now.
We all took a picture together.
No. Okay.
I can hear.
You can hear. I can't.
Couldn't find it. I don't even.
The problem is that I cannot
Is your
hear her.
audio going out to your headphones?
It's supposed to be. It's not seeing my headphones. Let's see if that works. To start every stream with. There we go. Okay, hopefully now I'll have audio. I'll take her back just a little bit.
What was?
Okay, there we go. All right, now I can commentate because I can actually hear her. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to do. Because I know, because you know, so many people are watching this. Is that people like to have the closed captions on. So, all right, here we go. I think I took it back. Oh, honey, I'm sorry. I think I took it back a little bit, and she's finishing talking about the endowment. Oh yeah, because she took off her temple clothes. So, I think there we go. Okay.
I've got to say, I feel so much better in normal clothing. I actually, as I already showed you, I have my endowment paper in here. And I wrote in my journal after I did my endowment mission. I wrote in my journal a few days after I did my endowment. And I actually am really glad that I did because I think reading the entry, I consider this time to be the literally most dedicated I ever was to the Mormon Church. So in my most faithful state, I experienced what I just talked about, and it really made me have a lot of cognitive dissonance about my very sincere desire to serve a mission and my absolute repulsion at the temple ceremony. So I wanted to read the portion of my journal where I talk about the temple experience. I went through the temple and received my endowments yesterday. Everyone keeps asking me how it was, but it's definitely something that is hard to put into coherent words and phrases. I think as time goes on, I'll be able to understand and be more comfortable with it. It was good though. And I think the advice my mom gave me was very sound, that if I have anything I'm unsure about, that I can always pray about it. It was certainly an overwhelming experience though, and I'm not sure how I could have better prepared, maybe knowing anything at all about it. I think I need to pray.
Yeah, and that gets us back to the catechesis. Like they don't catechize. They don't catechize their members because it's they. I mean oh no, I told my children about the temple ceremony. Now I must go die. Right?
Apparently.
Like, uh, it isn't that just okay. Okay. So let's talk about something. So I was reading one of my books about Mormonism. And this would be Walter Martin's Kingdom of the Cults. And what he was talking about in there was how the Mormon church has tried very hard to make itself very appealing and very youth focused. They want young adults to be very involved in their church activities. And they do this by sponsoring all kinds of events for youth. And apparently, at least according to Dr. Martin in the 80s, they had a very low uh, teen delinquency rate in Utah. And uh, that was partially attributed to all the Mormon churches and them keeping their kids busy with activities at the church. So I think that that's very interesting. So the church really makes you that's part of your daily life. That's where all your socializing is. You're not doing the kids aren't doing, things with non-Mormons as much as they are with other Mormons, and that's the kind of the point, right? So you spend your entire life going to the church, and Alyssa talked about this a little bit too, where she did baptisms for the dead and all that kind of stuff as a teenager, because that was the only thing that she could do. Um, and like it was like, oh, Saturday night we're gonna go get baptisms for the dead. Like,
I wonder if they brought in a lot of goth kids. We're gonna go to the graveyard and baptize dead people.
well, they only if they were Mormon goths, which they couldn't be Mormon goths because they can't do like piercings and tattoos, and that's a really big part of the goth subculture.
Well, then they could also call themselves Morgoths, which is the bad villain from the Silmarillion.
Yeah, that's true. Um, got it. Maybe. No, I missed it. Dang it. Uh, yeah. So, I think. Excuse me. I think part of that is that,
That's why
if you.
can't be Mormon.
Hmm?
That's why you can't be Mormon because you think.
I'm allowed to think, okay, and I don't have to tell you how I
Yeah,
think.
but that's why you can't be Mormon though.
Oh, actually, Mormonism has a really high rate of education. They really push education. That's why they have like BYU and stuff. Um, and that's part of their the church's wealth is associated with their property holdings. They have a lot of property that they own because they have like all the church properties and the
Members'
temples
properties.
and the schools and stuff like that. So, anyway, what I was getting to, and stop derailing me, you jerk. Anyway, so you're a Mormon kid and you grow up going to the church and doing all these activities at the church. Your life revolves around the church. And again, I'm not really comfortable calling it a church because I don't think it's a church. Also, I need to slightly lower myself. There we go. Um, so like I think you spend all that time there and then you go like she did to her endowment ceremony and suddenly you're hit with all the oh, shoot shoot um suddenly you're hit with all the uh culty stuff and you have to reconcile that with what you've grown up with and the fact that you weren't told any of that and that you can't tell anybody else who hasn't gone through it, and how isolating that would be. Like, you can only talk to other Mormons about what you've gone through, and only other Mormons who've been through what you've been through. So you're isolated from probably your friends, especially if your friends are all younger than you, or you're left out from all your friends because all your friends have gone through endowment and you're not a part of the in group anymore because you haven't gone through your endowment yet. And then you have to decide, like, okay, am I going to stay Mormon and believe in these ceremonies that are really weird, or am I going to reject everything I grew up with, including the church, which is the only socialization and the only um, group that I've been a part of, and strike out on my own? Like, that must be terrifying. Anyway. Oh, I have to actually click on it.
About it and go again to develop more faith. I'm sure I'll write about it more throughout my life.
Oh, yeah, more faith. Yeah, she has to have more faith because she doesn't have enough faith. And the only way to get faith in the Mormon church is to be a good Mormon. So, you have to, not drink your coffee, not drink Coca-Cola, don't have piercings or tattoos, go to church every Sunday, fast, tithe, all those laws from the Mormon church. I mean, really, it's a lot of laws. And there's no way you can keep all of them because, well, you just can't.
And that is it. So, I mean, it honestly makes me want to cry reading that, because the idea that I'm describing it as an overwhelming experience, obviously I didn't like it. But I don't, even in my personal journal, I don't want to say how I really feel. I literally say, I think as time goes on.
Yeah, because what if your mom reads it? You might get in trouble with your mom.
I think I'll be more comfortable with it. So if you read between the lines, I felt then how I'm saying I felt now. I'm just now able to be very brutally honest about it, that I mean, I didn't like it. And the fact that I know I keep reiterating this, but the fact that I went into it having such high expectations and then experiencing what I did is obviously clear in this entry, that I didn't like it, and I wanted nothing to do with it. After I went through the temple, I did start wearing garments regularly. I wore them from the time that I got my endowment all through my 1.5-year mission, and then about 2 years after that. So all told, I probably wore garments for about 3 to 3.5 years. And I really had this crossroads of a moment when I went through the temple for the first time, where I sat after taking a shower after we got home, and I saw my 2 little baggies to open a new pair of garments, and I felt in that moment like I had this option, right? I felt that maybe this was the crossroads where I should just walk away from this church. Maybe I should just say, I'm not going to serve a mission. I wasn't ready for this. I need some time to think about it. I'm not going to start wearing garments. And honestly, to some extent, the fact that I had pre-promised at the beginning of the endowment weighed on me pretty heavily, because I still felt manipulated into, I did promise to wear these though. I promised I would wear this underwear, this was one of the covenants I made when I was in the temple. And as I stepped out of the shower and I'm in my towel, I kind of was like gritting my teeth and just saying, I'm going to do it. If my mom believes in it, and my dad, and my sister who served a mission, and all of these people I trust, I'm just going to do it too. And I allowed myself, instead of saying, no, I need to believe in it myself, I just said, I'm going to take other people's word that this is the right thing, and I'm going to shove any feeling that this is wrong down so far that I can put this underwear on my body and just completely distinguish any feelings I have that this is not what I should be doing. I continued on my Mormon mission.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of something you have to do, right? Because if you don't, I mean, what are your choices? It's kind of funny. So, like, Mormonism isn't the only religion that has like special clothing, right? You have the Jews with their yarmulkes and Muslims with their hijabs and stuff like that. So it's not like religious clothing isn't a thing. And even like there's some Catholic women who wear veils, or like if you go to the Vatican you have to wear certain clothing. Um uh so it's not a uncommon thing. Um Especially when you consider how popular Judaism and Islam are. But I imagine a lot of people who are in these religions do have that question, like, hey, do I wear this or do I not? Um, I know I had an experience where I had I used to drive school bus and I drove high schoolers. And I had one high schooler, he would only ride in the mornings, and or he, no, he rode every day, every time, morning and afternoons. But he would get on my bus and he'd have his yarmulke on, and then by the time we got to school, it would disappear. And on the way home, he'd get on the bus at school and he wouldn't have the yarmulke on, and then when he got home, it was magically on his head. And then there was the Muslim girl. She was on the same bus, same time, and she only rode in the afternoons. And she would get on the bus and wouldn't have on the hijab. And when she got home, it was on her head, and when she got off the bus. So, um, there's some aspect of teenage rebellion, but there's also some aspects of them thinking about their faith individually too. So like I'm sure there's plenty of Mormon teenagers who have gone through their endowment and then thought, oh, do I really want to wear this? And then there's all the Mormons you see on TV who there's no way they're wearing those garments. The garments we saw, there's no way they're wearing them because of the clothes that they're wearing.
Lindsay.
Well, but she's not practicing. So it's not fair to mention her when she's not practicing.
I don't know if she's not practicing.
Fair, but I would assume she's very obviously not wearing the garments, so
True.
who knows? That's between her and her faith. But yeah, it's, and again, it goes back to catechesis. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm making much sense tonight. But I think she had some valid thoughts then and valid thoughts now.
I still went to serve a whole mission. I was there for 1.5 years. And the whole time I really didn't like wearing garments. I remember trying to have some conversations with my sister missionary companions or other people who I met. Because another element of this is you're not allowed to talk about it outside of the temple. So once I left those temple grounds with my mom, I actually wasn't even able to ask her anything, like according to the rules. So
I am stupid. I said I was under the assumption and that maybe I was stupid. I have indeed confirmed that I am stupid because I didn't unmute my mic. So
I like the 30 seconds of silence.
thanks. I worked really hard on that. I think it's important to keep your audience on their toes, right? Anyway, so I was under the impression that she could talk to her parents about the temple stuff that she experienced, as long as Mormons who hadn't gone through it or non-Mormons weren't around. But I guess I was wrong. She couldn't ask any questions. Like, I was gonna wait till the end. I was gonna wait till the end. But you know what? I'm gonna say it now. Mormonism is a cult. I decided this. I mean, I decided it a while ago, but I wasn't gonna like share my conclusion until like the end. But shocker, Mormonism is a cult. um no, like, okay, like you can't even talk to your parents about it once you get home. Like, what the
Can you imagine if we were dating and you were trying to convince me to join the church, but you couldn't tell me anything about it?
I mean, I can't even imagine that. Like, you must have so many questions after going through the endowment. And like, I'm sure that there's like a lot of pressure to not like, I mean, you're supposed to be in that holiest of holy places in the temple, like right after the endowment ceremony, right? So like, nobody's going to ask questions, stupid questions about what just happened in the sacred, holy of holiest heaven on earth place in the temple, God's waiting room. Jeez. Anyone who asks questions there is just stupid, because that's the mountaintop. Why would you ask questions there? But then, like, you're like, okay, well, I'll just ask when I get home. Oh, right. I promised I wouldn't. Promised I wouldn't talk about it anywhere but the temple. Under the watchful eye of the Mormon Church. Like, what the heck? What the heck? Who does that? Well, besides the Mormon Church, obviously. But, like, you can't even talk to your parents, your own parents. You can't ask them questions once you get home. I'm just, I'm flabbergasted. I'm shocked. I'm. If I couldn't ask questions about what was happening on Sunday morning, how was I supposed to learn? Just by going repeatedly? Which I guess is the idea. It's brainwashing. It's brainwashing. That's what it is. You have to go several times. Oh, you didn't feel it the first time. Well, you got to go again because you didn't do it right. Did you remember all the secret handshakes? You got to shake this way first, and then shake this way next, and then put your right arm in and your right arm out, and shake it all about. Do the hokey pokey and turn yourself around, and you'll get into Mormon heaven. The anger that I feel is not properly conveyed by my model because I cannot make her frown. Like, I can make her frown,
I know what you need to do.
but I can't make my
You can
eyebrows.
rotate her, right?
Can I rotate her in the OBS? I don't think I can. Like, I can move her around.
Oh, you can't rotate?
No.
Neuro can do flips. Why can't you?
Because I'm not Neuro, okay? I do not have the model that Neuro has. I'm using... Oops. I moved Alyssa. I didn't mean to move you, Alyssa. I'm sorry. I have the free version, okay? Neuro... Beetle probably wrote and drew Neuro himself. Right? Like, he...
Anyway, I was going to say
programs
you could just
her.
smile really big and then turn yourself upside down. You're gonna try to rotate your head.
That's as far as it goes. But I can make my hair swish. Swish, 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 swish. No. I don't like
if you get
it.
back on track, I will do a video after this next week with you, uh, discussing the common practices of cults,
Oh,
and we can, because you've seen this video a couple of times now, and I'm half paying attention,
you're half
and you
paying
can
attention.
help me understand, like, are they doing the common practices of cults? And I'm looking through
Oh,
this list, and yes,
yeah,
they're doing
yeah,
several.
because it's okay. Okay, so
We'll
yeah,
discuss it next week.
next week we can do that. Yeah, because like
Maybe I can have a model up, just a little picture, a little owl picture.
yeah, in your own microphone.
Yes, I have
What?
to get a microphone.
Uh, just get another one of these.
It was pretty cheap, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was only like $30, and then the arm was like 15, so it wasn't too bad. Like I thought that the mic and arm are pretty decent. I mean, it's not the best
The
quality.
downside to doing it is we would have two of them. If I stay over here,
Mm-hmm.
we have two of them, both picking ourselves up. Unless we can turn down the sensitivity on it.
You know, I don't know how to do that. That's something that we'd have to look into. But what we can do, one thing we can do is we can dual stream.
Oh, where I stream myself and you stream yourself?
Yeah. And then we're together, but we're also like streaming on our own separate channels. And watch, your channel gets more views than mine.
Because
even
I
though
made
mine's
one
older.
Short, one vague posting short.
Yeah, one vague posting short, but you will get more traction than I am. And then
Because I'll be a cute little owl. You just got to give yourself fox ears. Anyway, you have a video to watch, honey. You gonna am I gonna finish my
I
dailies
have
before you
7.
finish your video?
It doesn't take long to do dailies. Oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah, it's cool. That's my conclusion. Anyway, okay, so she can't talk to her parents about it. That's really stupid, and I hate it. I hate everything about it. I hate everything about the Mormon Church. It's I'm not supposed to hate. I'm not supposed to hate. That's naughty of me. Dearest, I have decided to sin boldly.
Did you sit in silence for a little bit, or did you mute your microphone?
Sat in silence. I have decided that I'm going to sin boldly.
You're going to sin boldly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, my bold sin that I am going to live in.
Take off that salvation, baby.
My bold sin that I'm going to live in. And repeatedly ask the Lord
for... You want to go starry-eyed as you talk about sinning boldly.
That's true. I could do hard eyes, which would be more... Oh, where are my Oh, I don't have my starry eyes. Oh shoot, I thought I had them on here. I'll do my shadow eyes. No, I'll do highlights. I have decided I hate Mormon theology. And anyone who teaches Mormon theology will suffer my ire. This has been decided. No, the highlights aren't quite right for that. Yes, there we go. Definitely. I hold nothing but contempt for the Mormon Church, and I shall continue to do so until my dying day. Because I fear, love, and trust in God above all things, And God is not in the Mormon church.
No, he's on his own planet.
Shut up! He's not on his own planet. He's not on his own stinking planet, okay?
Why do you think Jupiter's so big?
It's not Jupiter. It's Kolob, okay? Jeez, get it right.
Just because they don't know how to pronounce it doesn't mean I don't know how to pronounce it.
Well, it's not Jupiter. That is a question I'm wondering. Do Mormons believe in aliens? And if so, do they believe that those aliens are the descendants
those are
of
just
other
other
gods?
Those are just other gods. Pre-Mormon Mormons.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Like, does that mean that, like, if we found life on Mars, would the Mormons say that that life on Mars was the children of Elohim and Mother God? Or would they say that that was the children of some other super pious Mormon and his eternal wives? That's what I'd like to know.
These are questions that need answers. We must find a Mormon willing to discuss this with you.
I don't think I'll find a Mormon willing to discuss it with me. I think the only thing I'd find is an ex-Mormon. Anyway, let's finish the video.
I couldn't ask my mom outside of the temple. I didn't have another opportunity to go to ask those questions. I think I was worried that my questions would come off as a lack of faith anyways. I remember talking to the women that I was serving my mission with and saying, what do you think? And I felt like in many ways the temple and saying you love the temple was like its own form of Mormon bragging, because everyone I would talk to would just say, I loved it. I loved it. I loved the temple. I love the temple ceremony. I love my garments. I feel like everyone had such a just kind of mask on that there was no recognition or even like hint that they thought it was strange. And it felt to me
They can smell weakness.
almost dystopian even at the time, that nobody was willing to just say, yeah, it was a little odd, or yeah, I was unsure. I don't think I had any conversations of somebody who just said, I didn't like it. Nobody ever said that. And I think it was because your spirituality is so closely tied with your ability or your willingness to just completely say, I love the temple. I'm not holding anything back here. I completely 100% endorse everything that happens in that building. And so I think that also made me feel very alone. And
I constantly say that I don't like things about church, like contemporary worship. I hate it. Or when there's a hymn that I hate. There are some hymns that I hate. There are some hymns in our hymnal I absolutely cannot stand. I hate Seek Ye First, I hate On Eagle's Wings, and I absolutely despise Earth and All Stars. And I will tell any person who will listen to me how much I hate Earth and All Stars. It is the dumbest hymn I have ever heard in my entire life. And I doubt I will ever hear a hymn as dumb as Earth and All Stars. There are some contemporary songs that are better than Earth and All Stars. And that takes a lot for me to say, because I hate contemporary worship. I absolutely hate it. I can't stand it. And yet, I'd rather sing some contemporary music than ever sing Earth and All Stars again. And if my pastor ever makes me sing Earth and All Stars, I will personally go to his office and go through the entire hymn with him line by line and read it to him until he agrees that he's never going to make us sing that stupid song again. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Very unworthy. I think I felt a lot of guilt that I didn't like it because so many people seem to just unabashedly be willing to say they loved it. People would also this is very common, people would kind of make stuff up about the temple. So for example, they'd say, well, because there's this many pleats, that represents this many tribes of Israel, or in, the reason women veil their faces is in this one part of the Bible, and the reason that this token is called that is because of this scripture. And there's a lot of of maybe editorializing or rewriting, or people who would say, I know what it really means, because when you go through all of that, what I just described, you're left with what even was that? How does that have any bearing on my experience in the church so far? And people do a lot of, I think, bullshitting. It reminds me of, when nobody has read the book in English class and people just start making analogies and using metaphors and trying to just say, well, the reason a stop sign is red is because if you run the red sign, you're gonna have your blood come out of you from a car accident. Or
it's like when you go to a wine tasting and you're like, oh yes, this wine is so aromatic, and it has such a ephemeral feel on the tongue. It just kind of like, it's very sensational, this wine. And I can taste hints of sunshine and laughter in the fields. Right. Like like that. Because you weren't ever catechized and told about these things, and you can't be catechized and told about these things unless you're in the temple, because you can't talk about it unless you're in the temple. And how often do you get to go to the temple? How often do Mormons actually go to the temple? Like, it's not like an every Sunday thing. It's a once in a while thing. So like the opportunities are not numerous. For a religion that pushes education so hard. They really don't want to educate their youngest members and the people that they're trying to pull into the church about Mormonism. And maybe that's why their recidivism rate is so low or high. I know recidivism is the right word, but I don't know which way it goes. I'm so stupid. Retention. That's the word I was looking for. The retention rate. The retention rate of young people is so low. Yeah. Yeah.
Or, the reason the sky is blue is because Jesus's favorite color is blue. Didn't you know? And they just sound so sure of themselves, but it's utter bullshit. I apologize.
Yay, I'm wearing Jesus' favorite color. Hooray.
At this point for a slight rug pull, because I know I said I was going to go into baptisms for the dead and my wedding, but I am out of time to record my video for this week. I have made a couple of videos about my wedding and about baptisms for the dead. Those ones do actually go more into my personal experiences than the garment video I made and the endowment video I made about a year ago. So I apologize for the rug pull, but the great news is that if you want to watch those videos, you can go straight to watch them right now. I stand by everything I said in them. It's kind of funny because when I write my little outlines, I get so in the weeds with some of these things because it's like so much to explain, so much to talk about, so many different rules and, the changes and what I experienced and what it means. And it's really hard to cover all of this information. And also it just, I do end up getting kind of worked up. I get a little emotional, I get a little anxious, I get a little, it's hard to talk about these things. The first time I ever made a video with the garments, my hands were kind of shaking, and it's not because I felt any sense of guilt, it's because I've been very programmed to believe that talking about these things makes me fundamentally a bad person. And,
Yep. That's the cult talking. It's okay, Alyssa. Everybody feels weird talking to the camera the first time. I feel really weird about doing it now. I think I am getting a little bit better at it, at least compared to like last year, a couple years ago when I did Inktober. Definitely nice to have like this little like avatar that I can play with while I'm here. But yeah, that's the cult talking. That's that programming. Yeah, like she said, the programming. You're not a bad person, Alyssa, for talking about what you experienced in Mormonism. Mormonism is bad for making you feel guilty about talking about what you experienced. Um, because ultimately it's a false religion, it's a cult, and they abuse their people. And that's I mean, feeling like you can't talk about something that happened to you because it makes you a bad person is one of those things that people who are in abuse situations feel. They're made to think that they're the bad person for talking about it instead of the person who's doing the abusing talking telling them they can't talk about it and making them feel bad for talking about it.
I don't necessarily believe that logically anymore, but I do think that to some extent, knowing that I'm breaking a huge taboo, I'm breaking a huge kind of social rule that my community has, is really it is actually kind of hard to talk about these things. Maybe that's apparent by how much I stumble over my words. Usually, I cut out a lot of the stumbling because nobody wants to hear somebody stumble over their words, but.
Yeah. I can definitely like, yeah, I think that that's definitely true.
Anyways, this is important to me to talk about because ultimately I believe this information should be widely available. I think anyone who's ever considering joining the church should have a lot of access to this information. I think
This isn't what they talk about, the Mormon missionaries talk about, though. Well, because they can't, right? And it's not like they can take along a Gentile with them and have the Gentile tell them what they can't tell. uh, like a Jewish Sabbath Gentile comes to turn your lights off for you. Friend, come tell them what Brother John cannot tell them because he is a Mormon and can't tell them what goes on in the services in the temple.
that before missionaries choose to serve a mission, they should be able to know that this is what happens in the temple. I think that if we're going to sing, I love to see the temple, I'm going there someday, there should be a verse about secret handshakes and about the veil and about the prayer circle. And
you know, if that had been common knowledge, that Mormonism would never have grown to be the size that it is. And that's still true today. That that if people actually knew what was going on in the Mormon church, they wouldn't join.
about the washing and anointing and the oil. I just think that the fact that all of this can be concealed from mostly almost everyone under the guise of too sacred is just a thin lie. That's a lie. The reason you guys don't want to talk about it is because it's strange, and you would have a very hard time getting converts if this was something that was much more at the front of the church's presentation to the world.
Exactly. And that's why door to door Mormons don't talk about it.
And you can have light the world campaigns over Times Square, and you can
Oh my gosh. It looks like a blaze. Kill it. Burn it with fire.
tell people that Jesus is what is at the heart of.
I love how the light the world at the bottom it says American Eagle Outfitters. Is American Eagle Outfitters run by Mormons? Because it looks like they're sponsoring it. Is that a is that a is that a hold on. I don't know how to I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Alyssa. Don't worry. We're not looking at your face. We're looking at this. Is this a vending machine? Giving can't. It looks like it says giving machine. Oh my gosh, that's so weird. That's really cringe. I'm sorry, Alyssa. I'm gonna let you play while I put you back so that your pause face isn't. It's so bad. I'm sorry.
Of the religion, but as someone who was raised in the church, I believe that the temple, which Jesus is surprisingly not very present in the endowment ceremony, I think that the temple is the heart of Mormon.
Right, right. Because he's not walking down the halls, and you're like, "Hi, Jesus. Hi, so good to see you today. I just had my endowment ceremony, and I'm gonna go get baptized for the dead. See you later, Jesus. Oh, don't forget the potluck on Tuesday."
Mormonism, and I think that it's proof that it is a cult. And maybe it's a soft cult, and maybe it's cult-ish, but it's a cult nonetheless, in my opinion.
It's
And
not
I hope that if
it's not a soft cult. It's not cultish. It is a cult. It is a cult.
Don't forget to bring the water.
I'm not an expert, but I'm gonna say Mormonism's a cult.
you found this information and you're still with me here at the end and you're an active member and you're someone who's planning on attending the temple soon, I hope that
I'm not ever planning on attending the temple. I would love to get in there. Don't mistake me. I would love to get in there. However, the likelihood of me ever getting a temple recommend in my life is like,
Well, it's a 0 now with this video, honey.
oh yeah, definitely 0. Definitely 0. So, the likelihood of me getting a temple recommend is about as likely as Joseph Smith being a prophet.
if nothing else, this just helped you make a more informed decision about your future. Certainly some people see my videos and they say, this made me sure I want to serve a mission. Okay, well, more information made you more sure. Great, I suppose. And if this makes you choose to not serve a mission, great. More information made you help you have a more informed choice. And I'm just an advocate for easy access to information and for unfettered access to information and to making
Me too.
sure that if people are going to be making major decisions with their life and their money and their time and the lives of their children, that they should be able to be as informed as possible. Thank you all for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to drop a comment for the algorithm or drop a comment about your temple experience. And as always, I will see you all next week.
My temple experience is... Oh, nope. Don't want to watch another one. Nope. Thank you, Alyssa. My temple experience is no. I guess I will make myself to fill the whole screen since I don't have anything else to put on the screen for you. You get to see my fun little friend. I forget what her name is, but she's the watermark for the tracking software I use. Anyway, yeah. So that was Alyssa Grenfell's video. I think that she's accurate in what she's saying. Cross-referencing other information that I have about what the temple ceremonies are like. Yeah. And again, I hope that she heals from the abuse of the Mormon cult, and that she comes to faith in Christ Jesus as her savior. That would be great. I would be stoked for that to happen. So I think Wednesday is going to be gaming, right? Yeah. So we're going to be gaming on Wednesday. Haven't picked the game yet, but I'll figure it out. Thursday, I want to make my art day. Unfortunately, I don't have this set up to be able to do that. Uh, but I'm gonna figure something out. Until then, I think I'm just gonna do Mondays and Wednesdays, um, and keep Thursdays for now. I have a lot of, have a lot of art projects in the works that need to get done, and they're not on the computer, and so I can't work on them right now on stream. They're all physical things that have to be done. So, yeah, that should be it. Yeah. Have a good night, dear. Sleep well.
Don't tell me what to do. You're not my Mormon mom.
I'm not your mother, I'm your wife. But I'm not even sure I want to be that anymore.
But how else would you get our own planet?
Honestly, I don't want my own planet. That sounds like a lot of work.
It's a lot. That's a lot of lawn to mow, really.
I also don't want to be. Okay, here's the big thing. I do not want to be eternally pregnant.
But then you could finally have insurance.
It's
All
true.
the insurance you could need.
It's true. If I was eternally pregnant, I could have health insurance. That'd be great. We might become Mormon, dear. Just for the health insurance.
Well, then we better enjoy these while we got them.
You know, I'm
Wait,
kidding.
do I have to scrape off my tattoo?
No. No, you probably have to get it erased to be a really good Mormon. The hardest part is going to be coffee. Just,
If I can't have my Coke and my beer,
you would be a terrible person to be around.
like,
If I could not have my coffee, you would be dead.
if caffeine is illegal, can we not have tea either then?
We are not becoming Mormon. Life without coffee is meaningless. Coffee is life. All right.